The 10, the 5, touchdown!
What a great run that was there, Tristan, as A-State takes the lead.
Hold on, Cooper. Just wait a second. This isn't a football game. This is Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV. Hi, everybody. My name is Tristan Harlan. Here with my broadcast partner, my good friend Cooper Milder. Cooper, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to get Red Wolf Roundtable, the new and improved Red Wolf Roundtable, up and running here on ASU-TV.
For those who do not know who we are, I'm Tristan Harlan from Cabot, Arkansas. Did a little commentary over there. Was a sports director, led everything over there for the sports side. Cooper, why don't you introduce yourself to the fine folks?
Yes, my name's Cooper Milder. Hi, everyone. I'm also from Cabot, Arkansas. I did the color commentary for football and basketball. I had to do some play-by-play throughout the basketball year here and there. And, you know, I'm glad to be back in front of the camera and talking about sports.
Well, you know, back at Cabot, it was just second wind where, you know, every time we were on camera or at a game, it was just one of those electrifying experiences to where, you know, everybody knew who we are. Everybody was looking forward to those Friday nights on the gridiron where, you know, you had the games against Bryant. Even when we had our own sports show, the Panther Forum, it was just one of those things that was an electrifying experience. And I'm glad that we can bring that feeling here to ASU TV and to the fans of the Arkansas State Red Wolves.
And that is true. We need to get excitement for A-State football. We are a smaller school in the Sun Belt, but more known as the Fun Belt. We can have fun. We have a great soccer team. We have football. Hopefully they can get things going in the next couple of years. And we have a basketball team with familiar faces, young faces, a lot of good players, and I'm excited.
Wow.
No. Brother didn't know how to grow a beard.
Wow. And wow. So, wow. You can see my eyes now. Look at that.
I have a beard now.
You do. You went, okay, so we went from our very first Red Wolf Roundtable episode, which aired 3 years ago yesterday.
According to four?
Well, technically 3 because
okay.
2021. And then Mr. Sullivan went even deeper and showed our high school footage.
Well, so that was on the first episode.
Really?
Yes. Do you not remember that?
It's been 3 years, buddy. It's
Touché.
been 3 years.
Touché.
But, man.
Well, happy anniversary, I guess. What'd you get me?
I got you a coffee mug.
With no coffee.
Have you looked inside of this mug? Dirty. But besides that, 3 years ago, I guess yesterday, but 3 years ago, two little freshmen from Cabot, Arkansas, who had a dream in sports, came in to Arkansas State University, knocked on Mr. Sullivan's door, and man, we went running from there. So much has changed.
Yeah, I mean, we went from, you know, using headsets to using lapel mics to having a old set to having a new set, from live to, you know, now here we are now. We went from Louis, Easton, Ella Jane Britt, Hannah Hatfield, James Lowry. I mean, we've been through a whole bunch of people that's been on camera with us. I mean, we've done a bowl show. Shout out Jake Williamson and Jake Tester and
Gavin Grubbs
on there. And
our March Madness special.
We won some awards.
And we've seen the highs and lows of Arkansas State athletics every single year.
Do we classify for a senior citizens discount at this point?
Might as well get the early bird special.
Be in bed by 6.
Hey, sounds like a good night to me.
Hey, just trust me. I didn't get to sleep till 2 a.m., so you're preaching to the choir. But I don't know.
3 years, Tristan. 3 years we have been coming on every day of the week, if it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever we're filming. 3 years.
Consistently.
Of Red Wolf Roundtable.
Consistently. Not a lot of people can say that around here.
No. How does that make you feel? We've been doing this for 3 years.
Makes me feel, oh my God.
We're on year 4. Oh.
No.
I have eyes.
I have facial
The many
hair.
hairs of Cooper throughout this show could be its own segment in itself.
I've rocked probably the same 3 haircuts the entire time.
I mean, yeah, you're looking better.
Yeah, I've had better haircuts, but I mean, we went from doing the Cabot thing, shout out Chuck Massey and Colton Tripp, to coming to Arkansas State University, and we went to Columbus, Norman, and we're getting ready to go to Atlanta on Friday. I mean, we've had Norchad O'Meara on the show, who is now, at Baylor?
Baylor. We've had
Izzy Higginbottom on the show. We've had Jade Upshaw on the show. We've had Mackenzie Robinson on the show. We've had Coach Dez, Lauren. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we've done.
There has been, and you know what? For a senior year, it's only going to get better.
Well, speaking of getting better, the women's basketball team, they look like they are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, so our women's basketball team, they went to Arizona State. Played Arizona State, the Sun Devils, and man, what a game. If you missed it, I mean, they were absolutely dominant. Ended up winning that game 100. Yes, you heard me correct. 100, Tristan, to 96.
I believe it's the most points they've scored against a Power 4, Power 5 school in program history.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Dez, she came up and talked. We had that interview with us before the game, and she classified her defensive style play 40 minutes in hell, just because she's high pressure, full court press. We're going to be forcing turnovers and scoring, and man, did they do that.
Yeah, I mean, they shot 51% from the field, we'll give them the extra boost, 32% from three-point land, but scoring 100 points is something that many people could only dream of Arkansas State women's basketball doing. I mean, it's kind of been a rocky road since Coach Rogers took over a couple years ago. I mean, she's getting ready to play Mississippi Valley State, the team she actually beat to get her first career win as a head coach. So I'm excited to see what they could do. Of course, they've lost players to the transfer portal. They've gained players from the transfer portal. They've recruited well. They've hired new coaches, lost coaches. I mean, they've done a whole remodeling of the women's basketball program, of course, from the days when Mr. Sullivan was still working with athletics and Coach Brian Boyer was at the helm. I mean, it's kind of night and day difference. I mean, now this team is looking to consistently shoot the three, looking to consistently kick the ball out and playing the blitz on the low block, and I'm excited to see what this team can do the rest of the season.
Yeah, and they also had a player, Chrislyn Rose, won Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week. Dropped a little 30 bomb against Arizona State, and you like to see that. A person who stuck with the system, didn't go out in the transfer portal when Coach Rogers is bringing in all this new talent, came here, got that starting role, and you know what, showed out.
Right, and, she's the only player that's really been on the roster her entire tenure in college. But, they're looking well. Of course, the men's basketball team is looking well, but we'll get into them right after we go to break. You're watching Red Wolf Roundtable here. Where else? But on ASU-TV. Stick around.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to West Side football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV. Now it's time to shift focus to the men's basketball team. Of course, they are coming off a win against the Little Rock Trojans.
Yeah, so last night, Arkansas State won a good one. They won 80-63, and, you know, last time we're talking they need to get to the free throw line, and they did. They went to the line, got 30 attempts, but they only made 19. That's not a real high percentage. It's just barely above 60%, but, I mean, it was a night and day first half from second half. I mean, first half, Arkansas State come out there. They couldn't hit the ocean if they were standing on the stand, right on the coastline. I mean, they could not make a three, but they come out in the second half, and they ended up making 13 threes total that game, caught fire. And, you know, I really respect Coach Hodson in the fact that, you know, the three-point ball was working, but in the first half, but he's going to stick to it. You know, he's just going to keep on just sticking to the offense, keep going. And something I was kind of confused at first. Kobe Julian just started heating up, and, you know, he takes him out and put in Joseph Pinion, who just missed 4 straight threes. Couldn't hit a three all game. Take Kobe Julian out and put in Pinion. I was like, I'm going to talk about on the show, why are you taking our best player out for Pinion, who couldn't hit a three to save his life? And what does Pinion do? First three he puts up, bang. Puts up another three, bang. So, you know, this team, once they get hot from three-point land, they get going.
Well, and this is something I wanted to bring up too, is that the first half was kind of a style of basketball that all the old heads would love to watch. I mean, it was a defensive battle there until halftime. I mean, Kobe Julian had 6 steals, a career high, and was one away from tying a First National Bank Arena record at 7. But, I mean, you saw a lot of different things from this team that you didn't see in the Alabama game and you didn't see in the Akron game. Of course, you saw high explosive offense against Akron and a little bit of the same against Alabama. But against Little Rock, this team was kind of like they shifted focus and became a defensive team because, I mean, of course, you saw the score. It was very low scoring, not to what they're usually scoring against Alabama and Akron. I mean, they scored 80. I'm sure they're going to end up scoring 90-plus the rest of the season, but shooting 37% from the field, 33% from three-point land, I mean, it's not exactly what you want to see from this team, but the fact that they won really goes to test as A, the free throws, and B, Joseph Pinion coming off the bench when needed and absolutely electrifying the crowd up and getting some big threes. I mean, it blew the roof off the place, and I want to condemn Coach Brian Hodson because in his post-game presser, he made the statement, you know, or not in his post-game presser, but he said it to Matt Stoltz post-game, and, you know, I overheard Matt Stoltz talking about it, and, you know, he was talking about how the team still sucks. I mean, yeah. You know, to put it vaguely, I mean, you know, they're letting a Little Rock team score that many points at home. Of course, it's a rivalry game, which I want everybody to figure out a name for this rivalry. It's something I've been thinking about myself, but I want to figure something out for that rivalry if they continue to play it. But I just think that the way this team is playing, of course, you have the electrifying inside game from Rashard Marshall and a lot of the others, but the biggest piece that's missing that they don't seem like they're missing just yet, and that's Isaiah Nelson. He still has yet to play.
Yeah, and Isaiah Nelson is going to be a big factor just because of the energy he brings to the team. I mean, if you were at the game last night, which our crowd has been amazing these past 2 home games, and I can only bet they're going to get better as the year goes on, especially into conference play. But if you're at the game, you've been watching them, Isaiah Nelson is on the bench, standing up on a chair with a broken foot or whatever his foot injury is, standing up on a chair. He's in the game. He is locked in. He wants to be out there. And there's only a matter of time when Isaiah Nelson gets back. You're going to see that energy he brings, and this team's going to get rolling. And speaking of big man, I want to talk about Kobe Julian.
Okay.
He's arguably our best player on the team, defensive-wise, and when he puts his head down, drives into the paint, all they can do is foul him to stop him. But, man, stop shooting the 3-ball. I respect your game, but against Alabama, you went 0 for 5. Against Euler, you went 0 for 5. I get maybe shooting 1 or 2 threes a game. If you're open, shoot it. But after you go 0 for 3, stop shooting the 3-point ball. Now, if you're just on fire, keep shooting, but we can't afford you shooting 5 threes a game and not hitting a single one. We want you to get the ball top of the key, get a little ISO, drive down in the paint because no one can stop you. Just don't shoot the 3. Leave that to De'Aaron Ford, Joe Sapinion, Avery Felts, Terrence Ford, Taryn Todd. There's a bunch of other players that can shoot the three ball. You don't have to rely on the three. Drive in the paint, get your buckets. And I mean, when you did that, you went to the free throw line 12 times and made 10 of 12. So,
Right.
I mean, just stop shooting the three ball.
Right, and the thing too with Kobe Julian is he's an aggressive slasher. I mean, we've seen him time and time again drive in, able to dunk the ball. But the thing is, and this is the way the team has operated so far, at least from my viewpoint. Now I could be wrong, could be different, but this is what I view it as. Okay, so you have a starting five on. You know, you got Taryn Todd in there occasionally. You got the Fords switching the guard spot. Which, speaking of, De'Aaron Ford had his shoulder wrapped up, so hopefully he's not going to be out long. Or not out long, but, hurt long. But anyways, you've got essentially a starting five lineup that's really thriving behind the arc with Taryn Todd, De'Aaron Ford, and Terrence Ford. So why not use your 3, 4, and your 5 inside where Kobe Julian can or your 4 and your 5 to really slash inside and get those rebounds, to get those second chance points? Because, I mean, there was 2, 3, maybe even 4 moments in that game against Euler where they're getting these offensive rebounds. They're throwing them back out to the corner, and Pinion's hitting a 3. Taryn Todd's hitting a step-back 3. Heck, even DeAndre Dominguez is shooting in the corner where he thrives when he has the ball. So there's definitely elite shooters on this team, but I don't think 5 out of the 5 on the floor have got to shoot the ball.
Yeah, and something that I noticed last night with Coach Hodson, when the scoring was in a little drought, when we're in a scoring drought, we couldn't get things going. He was using the entire bench last night. That's what I noticed. Everybody played, and he was just trying to figure out who can I trust to stay out there to consistently score. He knew he could keep Kobe Julian out there. He knew he could keep Terrence Ford out there just to really run the offense. But someone who got big minutes last night that, a bunch of fans here at Arkansas State were missing was Avery Felts. He came in off the bench. We haven't really seen him much throughout this year so far. We've only played 3 games, but we haven't really seen him much. He comes out here, and the loudest I heard the crowd get was at the end of the game when he drained that 3.
Right. Well, again, they have another home game Saturday against Stephen F. Austin, and of course, this is going to be a very tough matchup. Both teams at 2-1, and you see this points per game, they're almost even Stephen, and of course, the points allowed again. Stephen F.A. allowing a little bit less than the Red Wolves, and they're shooting slightly better. But again, I mean, look, here's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. But you limit Kobe Julian's 3-point shooting, and that percentage is only going to go up.
Yeah, I mean, we're shooting about 33s a game. Of course, that percentage is going to be lower than the average team when your whole offense is behind shooting the 3 ball. So it's going to be a bit lower than teams if you're shooting about 30, 35 a game. But, if you're hitting 13, you can't complain.
Right. Well, Cooper, it's about time to hit the road.
Yes.
And we'll tell you guys all about our upcoming trip this weekend when we come back to Red Wolf Roundtable right here on ASU-TV. Stick around. Stick around.
When you say experience counts, it's experience that counts for a lifetime.
Boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, quitting was never an option. Exhausted, this passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it. Quitting was never an option. And you cannot stop it, nah, you cannot stop it.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV, and now it's time to get into football. And this past Saturday, Arkansas State, they went to Louisiana, and all I have to say is, when it rains, there's thunder, Tristan. We went down to Louisiana with the title shot on the line, and we got wiped out of there. 55-19, and all I got to say is,
BTA.
Yeah, we told you so. I mean, if you watched last week's episode, me and Tristan, we went in on this team. Coming off a win, we were mad. We were challenging this team, and we went after them. And, you know, we kind of predicted what was going to happen.
Right. And look, here's the thing, okay? So I sat back with Kate Marsh, who helps out with the show. You possibly will see him on camera later on this semester. You know, he's a great guy, very smart, knows the game of ball. Mm-hmm. He knows ball. And, you know, we were sitting there picking out different things within the game of what happened. And there's one key factor that I want to point out before we go anywhere else, and that's Noah Smith, the left tackle. It seemed like every single time someone was coming on that inside shoulder, they were getting in the backfield. It didn't matter if it was a pass play or run play. Of course, now, don't let me just sit here and hammer him home before I discredit him. He did have a couple good blocks, but when guys were targeting that inside shoulder when they were coming inside with the defensive line, it just seemed like, hey, these guys are beating him off the line and they're getting in the backfield, disrupting the play. But, you know, the loss really poses the question that I want to talk about with you, Cooper, is that after Jalen Rayner throws interceptions, does it seem like he becomes less aggressive and more just passive and just stops trying to win?
I don't think he stops trying to win, but I feel like it hurts his confidence where he gets a little too conservative. He's afraid to make another mistake. And when you're afraid to make another mistake, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up making more mistakes than you want to. You can't be conservative. You got to be aggressive, especially when you're down. I get you don't want to throw another interception, but, I mean, you have to do something. You have to stay aggressive to stay in the game, and they didn't stay in the game at all. I mean, we got beat 55-19. And another problem is we couldn't stop the run to save our life. I mean, they almost had 200 rushing yards right before halftime, and they ended the game with 279 rushing yards. I mean, pass for 301. I mean, rush for 279. They almost had 600 yards in total offense. I mean, you're not going to win too many games giving up that many yards. And, I mean, look. What happened to us on the ground game on defense is what Nick Saban likes to say. They ran through us like something through a tin horn.
I would expect that one.
I mean,
but I mean, look, here's the thing. And again, and I will hammer this home. Why does it seem like our coaches get complacent when the team's struggling? I mean, look, I get you go down 7-0, 14-0, you still have time to come back. If it's in the first quarter, you still have time to run your offense the way you practice. But you practice as you play and you play as you practice. This team looks like they go to practice and they don't even hit. They go to practice, it looks like they don't do no blocking drills, no tackling drills. Arkansas State cannot have an open field tackle to save their life. I mean, I don't know what has become of this offense and this defense, but, you know, of course, when we started this show, going back to, you know, how we remembered and had our anniversary in the first segment, this team won only one game, won 2 games, won 3 games, and all of a sudden now they're 5 wins in, 1 win away from bowl eligibility, but we're still sitting here talking like they're making mistakes of a 2-10 team or a 1-11 team. What is it going to take for this team to finally, I don't want to say play like an organized football team, but what is it going to be enough to where they sit back, they smell the roses, they taste the chocolate, and they say, okay, where can we really thrive on the field? Because let's be real. You said this last week, and I'm going to reiterate it this week. They are the worst 5-win team in the country.
They are. I mean, you're asking what is it going to take, and obviously it seems like don't play on the road. I mean, we have one more road game and 2 home games left. We do not need to be playing on the road. We are absolutely terrible on the road. You're seeing it now. We're 1-4 on the road, 4-0 at home. And like I stated before, we have 1 road game left against a winless Georgia State team. They have 2 wins, 0 conference wins though. Winless Georgia State team, and we're looking at it now. We are not the favorites against a 2-7 Georgia State team because the analytics, they're looking at it, they're like, this team can't win on the road. Why should we make them the favorites if they've proven time and time again they can't win on the road? We had that 1 road win against Southern Miss, but besides that, you're looking at 4 losses, and we've gotten smoked every single time. I mean, we went to Michigan, got beat, went to Iowa State, got killed, went to Texas State, died again, and then we went to Louisiana, and they shot us 3 times. I mean, and we can't win on the road. We come home, and it's like, okay, I guess we're going to try to put on the show for our 15 fans that show up to the game, but, I mean, man, we can't win on the road, and I'm afraid we might go to Georgia State and lose.
Well, and here's the thing, and I want to touch on this too because I saw it in that graphic. But hold on, real quick, Mr. Grubbs, can you pot that graphic up just real quick for me so I can make a point about the Georgia State game, just real fast for me. But a 2-7 team is allowing less yards than Arkansas State. How? Listen. I am fixing to say something that is going to either be out of pocket or it's going to be very wise, depending on how this game goes Saturday.
Don't get us canceled.
No. When is enough going to be enough? When is the guys on the defensive side of the ball going to learn how to make either an open field tackle or send 11 guys straight to the ball? I mean, even in the Louisiana game, late in the ball game, Justin Parks threw a punch at somebody because he didn't like what they said. It's football. Grow up.
Yeah, I mean, the reason, throughout this whole season, it's like, well, we're giving up this many yards because we played Michigan, we played Iowa State. That was at the start of the season. We're about 9 games in now. We do not have an excuse for almost giving up 500 yards a game. I mean, that's why I said we are the worst 5-win team in the country. We are the worst 5-win team in the country because, yeah, we somehow have 5 wins due to no call catch. They said he caught it. And, we've gotten lucky at home a bunch of time and time again. But when we're giving up 500 yards a game and we have 5 wins, I don't know. What are they going to put us? They're going to bring back the GoDaddy Bowl and put us in that if we get 6 wins?
No, they're going to put us in the Ben Herbstreit Bowl.
Okay. Oh, R.I.P.
Look, Ben Herbstreit, absolute college football legend.
Do not disrespect him.
I'm not disrespecting. No, I'm not disrespecting.
Saying, if there's the Ben Herbstreit Bowl, do not put the Red Wolves in it. We cannot represent Ben that well.
Well, and look, here's the thing, okay, and this kind of goes back to the offensive breakdown, I've seen people talk about it on Twitter all season long. Caden and I were talking about it. Gavin Grubbs has talked about it. We've talked about it. I think everybody who's an Arkansas State fan has talked about it. But why, when it's 2nd and 5 to 3rd and 16, why are we calling swing passes? Why are we throwing balls in the flat instead of taking a shot? I mean, Jalen Rayner, he takes a shot, throws an interception, then it seems like, well, he gets complacent and doesn't want to take a shot no more. But we've got Jaquez Cross from Purdue who made Texas State, look like the kittens or whatever, and now he's dropped production yardage, he's dropped touches, he's dropped touchdowns. Zach Wallace, you get in the goal line, you get in the red zone, you put him on the line or you put him in the backfield, he's going to score. We saw that last home game. But I don't know where it starts. I don't know if it starts with Butch. I don't know if it starts with Jeff Purinton. I don't know if it starts with Rob Harley, Andy Kwan. I don't know if it starts with Heckendorf. I don't know who it starts with, but it's got to start somewhere. And I'm sorry, and I'm going to go ahead and say this, but they need to clean house.
Clean house. I mean, you're not wrong, because the reason we're saying this, just because you could be thinking, well, we went to a bowl game last year. They're making progression, this, and that. We're 5-4. We're one win away from a bowl game. Who cares? 4 or 5 years ago, we were in race to win conference every year. We were being picked to win the conference every single year because we were good, and that was the expectation, was to win 8+ games every year. But now it's, oh, if we can just commit to 6, let's get 6 wins. You're in the Sun Belt Conference. You should be winning at least 8 games every year if you are good. You're not playing in the Big Ten, the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC, where you're playing teams like Ohio State, Michigan, Indiana, Alabama, Texas. You're not playing all those good teams. You're playing teams like Georgia State, Georgia Southern, ULM. I mean, well, if you want mediocrity, fine. You can have mediocrity, and you can be happy with your 6th win and go to Montgomery and Alabama and play in a pointless bowl game every year. But, you know, if you want to succeed, then you got to make changes.
And I'll say this before we send it to break. It seems like the only thing that Butch Jones was doing in Alabama when he was under Nick Saban was going to get his oatmeal cream pies from the grocery store, doing his laundry, and pouring his scotch from his office. Because it doesn't seem like he learned a thing from him. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll get more into the Georgia State game right here on Red Wolf Roundtable.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to Westside football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable. We're over there now.
Hi.
Now we're going to talk about Georgia State.
Yeah, we are.
Now we're there.
Man, flipping the cameras all over the place. But, you know, this Georgia State game is going to be a lot more fun than, you know, you're looking at it, a 5-4 team versus a 2-7 team. Who cares to watch this game?
People on ESPN+.
Yeah, well, maybe if that. Or you can listen to it on Red Wolf Radio and ASU-TV because someone named Cooper Melder and Tristan Harlan are going to be at the game calling it. Whoop, whoop.
Is that the breaking news?
Yeah, that is the breaking news.
I didn't get the memo. I got to prepare.
Sorry, but, you know. Hey, breaking news. We're going to be at the game. We're going to be calling the game, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm glad you made it official because I didn't know if we were doing it or not. I've got to start preparing. We probably are going to leave in 2 days, and I have done zero preparation. So
I'll get on it.
I'll get on it, honey. But anyways, this game, you know, it's not a make or break for the season. It should be an easy win. On paper, it's not an easy win. But, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do I don't know what they're going to do if they lose that game.
Yeah, I mean, if we end up losing this game, there's a high chance we lose out because ULM, we beat ULM every single year. But you're looking at ODU, they're good. ULM, they're not having a bad season. And if we go out there and we get beat 55-19, I mean, you're seeing the standings now. They're 3-3. And then if you go to the West, ODU, they're still in the conference standing running. They're 2-2. If they win out, there's a chance they could sneak into first place. So you're looking at it, yeah, Georgia State, they're 0-4 in conference. They haven't won a game. But at ODU and ULM, there's a chance we don't win those games. And if we somehow go out to Georgia State, be down in the dumps, we got beat 55-19. This game is an easy one. Overlook them and get beat. We might end the season 5-7 and not make a bowl. All we have to do is win one more game, and then whoop whoop, we're going bowling. Congrats, Butch. You won 6 games.
Here's another extension.
Yeah.
But anyways, I do want to take a second because I just received word from the powers that will be that what you said is not official yet.
Oh.
So hold your horses.
Everything I said, Men in Black.
Stare at this white light.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, so the thing is, hello everybody. The thing is that, you talked about them losing out if they can't figure out a way to win against Georgia State. But the thing that I'm kind of wondering is that if this season ends where Arkansas State does not go to a bowl game, or even if they go to a bowl game, is anybody going to be told your services are no longer required? And if that happens, then the next question I have is I wonder how many players that are talented on this roster are going to say, thank you Arkansas State for the time I spent here in Jonesboro. I am now entering my name into the transfer portal.
Well, there's a couple names that come to mind that I wouldn't mind saying goodbye, sayonara, get out of here, pack your bags, you're fired. I'm not going to mention, but, maybe one coaches the offense, maybe someone also is I think maybe position as head coach. I'm not for sure, but I wouldn't be mad.
I would not cry over spilled milk is what he's trying to say.
Yes, I would not. I would be very happy.
Well, and here's the thing, okay? We have a receiver. They have a receiver by the name of Corey Rucker who is on cusp to breaking the school record for receiving yards. And if there's anybody on the roster right now that has what it takes to play at the next level, it's Corey Rucker. Now, when I say that, I do not mean he is a bona fide first-round pick or even a second-round pick. He's at best a third-round pick. But he still has what it takes to make an NFL roster and not be a threat, but be a nuisance in an offense.
Yeah, I mean, Corey Rucker, he's a really good receiver. I mean, he's shown it. I feel like NFL draft-wise, his best bet, and this is just my opinion, his best bet would be kind of like how, what's his name for the Raiders? Mine's gone blank.
Jeff Foreman?
Yes, Jeff Foreman. Go undrafted, sign as an undrafted free agent, because that way you'll have teams coming to you saying, hey, we want you to come play with us, we work out with us, we want to see what you do because we really need you. Whereas he gets picked late in the 6th round, 7th round, maybe even 5th round to a team that, we're just we have a draft pick, we're going to spend it. Sure, he looked like he did good, we'll pick him. Don't really need him, we're just going to draft him.
Right.
Whereas if he goes undrafted, he then has a chance to pick what team he wants to go to and really work out with and have a chance at. Like Jeff Foreman. He goes to the Raiders. All they have as a wide receiver right now is Brock Bowers, and that's the tight end.
Right, and, I'm sure we'll spend a little bit more time later down the road previewing Corey Rucker, what teams he fits best where. But I want to ask you this, and this is where I kind of want to go until we have to wrap the show. But what do you think happens to Arkansas State football if Butch Jones is fired?
That's a.
Oh,
I mean, that would be Butch. That would probably be Butch. I mean, I don't think it'd be that sad if we fire him just due to the fact he will be getting a large payout of his contract, making money. But I really don't know. Maybe we bring, I mean, there's a head coach that used to coach here that isn't a coach of a team right now. I mean, we were joking before the show, let's bring in Bill Belichick, this, and that. And Mr. Sullivan said he was going to apply for staff if that happened, an old Patriot fan. But I really don't know, because who would we go out and hire? That's the only problem, because, I mean, we've had a good track record of hiring good head coaches, but it seems this last hire really hasn't gone as to plan. I mean, there we go, 73-0.
We were at that game.
Yeah, we were. And speaking of games we're going to be at, real quick, I'm going to just change focus. The weather.
Yeah.
Because we need to know what to be wearing when we're in Atlanta, Georgia.
Because I have not packed yet neither.
No, we got to figure it out. And, you know, it's going to be nice weather. Not so hot Atlanta. It's going to be 68, a low of 53, maybe a little,
That says
little
43.
breeze. 43, my bad. 68, 43, same thing. But, you know, might need a little jacket nearing halftime. You know, we're going to be playing in the old stadium, baseball stadium, so that's going to be real fun.
Right, and, you know, I want to go back to the question about Butch because, I mean, it's a running joke between myself and all my friends. If Butch Jones does get fired, I would absolutely cry if Arkansas State went after Ed Orgeron, former head coach of the LSU Tigers, just because just because of that right there, to go Red Wolves. But I realistically, and this is what people have to consider when they call for Butch Jones' job, okay? If Butch Jones gets fired, who is going to go in the portal because they don't get along with the coach? I mean, sorry, my nose is itching today. I don't know why, but we saw it when Butch originally got hired here. Corey Rucker entered to the portal and went to South Carolina. Now, I'm not saying that's why he went to the portal, but I'm saying that the timeline kind of aligns itself with. But you got to look at guys like Jalen Rayner, Jaquez Cross, Malik Hornsby, Courtney Jackson, if he's still got eligibility, Tim Hardiman, Ethan Hassler, like all these guys that were recruited by Coach Jones to come play for the Red Wolves. They may say, hey, I want to go to where you're going to go because, I mean, let's be real. Coach Jones, while, yes, he has success in the Mid-American Conference, look at who he had on that roster at Central Michigan. I mean, he had Antonio Brown, J.J. Watt, and then when he was at Cincinnati, he had the Kelsey brothers. So, I mean, he's had NFL talent on these rosters where he's been successful, and now it's kind of, you know, showing his true hand, kind of like, you know, going to pick on Mr. Sullivan for a second, kind of like when Tom Brady left the Patriots and Bill Belichick really didn't do much after that fact.
Yeah, and the thing is with Butch Jones that we need to remember is, did I say Bill Belichick?
I think.
I mean Butch Jones. When we think about Butch Jones, you have to remember the reason why we are so hard on him is year and year again and time again, he's been getting the top recruiting class in the Sun Belt Conference. But when is that going to show on paper, your record, your stats? Because it hasn't happened yet, and it's about time.
Right.
And you know, if he gets fired, who knows who leaves? But I don't know. I'd rather have a good coach who can coach with what he has with.
Right. Well, Cooper, I think that's going to do it for this week. Of course, when we come back next week, we're going to have a recap of Hotlanta, what Cooper and I got ourselves into while down there. Looking at you, the College Football Hall of Fame in Buc-ee's. But hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Red Wolf Roundtable. We're going to sign it off here. Rest in peace, Ben Herbstreit, and we will see you guys next week.